Oh man. I'll tell you what though was crazy. So I got this phone, right? And
Okay.
I'm like talking to the guy and I'm like, I might I might want to get a watch too. Cause like I have a good watch, but it's a few years old. Like, what are your prices? So I got a new watch
Oh, okay.
for $5.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, he's like, we actually have a promotion now. We waive the whole price of the watch. It's normally a $35 setup service fee. It's actually only $5 right now. So it's like a $400. No, I think this is it's the new six. So it's like a $500 watch for free
Hmm.
and $30 off the setup fee. And like it has its own phone line and that's $10 a month. But like
All
I
right.
mean, I'll have to have it for 5 years for it to cost the amount of money the watch itself would have cost anywhere
Right.
else. I'll take it.
Not bad.
I was like, okay, I would say you've made a sale, but did you?
Did you?
Oh man, I can't wait to hear all of the fun facts you found about your band.
And you will hear them, and they will be fun. So be prepared for that.
I'm expecting like paragraphs.
Uh
Wait, what is?
Honestly, you might be surprised. It wasn't like the insane struggle that you would have thought it would be.
Sure, that makes sense. I just got so confused, but I
Oh
figured out
well,
what I
to
did.
be to be to be clear, I also bullshat my way through one or two of them, but there were a couple that it was like, oh, okay, all right, that works, that works.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I could not find any meanest or nicest things this band's ever done.
Who the fuck knows?
I I tried so hard and it just was not happening.
Of all the
What?
bands that have ever achieved a gold record, they've got to
This
be
is
one
one
of
of
the
them.
least famous. They are one
It's
of them.
one of the bands though. They're one of the
They
bands who've
are.
done
They are
that.
one of them. Highlight right there.
I actually didn't pick that as a highlight. I avoided it. I found something else that I thought was cooler.
Very nice.
It's something that I would consider a highlight. Like if we
That's
did
all
it.
that matters.
That's what I did. Like you'll get it. You'll get it when I say it.
I will. I have complete faith in your decision.
Yeah. Also, my allergies have been killing me this week, and I've been like teetering on losing my voice all week.
Mm.
This is the best I've sounded.
Yeah, I've had
Where
some
it's like
headache, like
scratchy and
sinus
annoying.
headaches
Like,
and everything.
yeah, whatever. It's the time
Fucking
of year
weather,
for it.
man. I know.
It's weather.
It is. I mean, it's fucking gorgeous out right
Oh,
now. I got
dude,
my
it's been
window
so
open here.
nice.
It's so beautiful. We were just sitting on the back deck for a while, and then the front porch because the back deck got too chilly.
Yeah.
Not for me.
No, I get it. I've been walking outside every day, which has been
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so nice for it.
it's been great. And it's like perfect because like I'll go out on my lunch and it's like for me because I walk it slow, so because I'm getting better. It's like 12 minutes, 13 minutes from walking out my front door to walking back in my front door. So a nice
Okay.
once around
Sure.
the complex, which is nice. So then I do that, and then I heat up my lunch, and then by the time I like sit back down to like clock in, I can just like eat my lunch and work
Sure.
because it takes that amount of time.
Yeah.
But it's good. Oh, and I'll tell you, even though we're live, people want to know. The people want to know this.
You're dying.
Sydney made us these like salmon bowls, which were delicious, and I had the rice the next day with just the two sauces. It's like this Japanese, so just white rice, and then it
Okay.
was like it's like mayonnaise kind of, but like Japanese mayonnaise ish, not
Interesting.
spicy mayo or not spicy mayo.
Okay.
But it was like it's like what they use to make spicy mayo.
Hmm.
It's like just the mayo part, and then of course I mixed it
Okay.
with sriracha, which then
Well,
makes it
that
kind
made
of
it
spicy
spicy.
mayo.
Yeah.
but it was so good. It was
Okay.
literally like white rice and that, and I was like
Huh.
set. I might have to get my sunglasses.
You might.
I don't know
Um,
what to do.
well,
I'll be
it's
right
made
back.
significant movement across your face since we've.
I know. It started like here and now it like I mean, I just have to be like back here, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay.
Do I sound worse? Does it
You
sound more
sound a
echoey?
little further away, just a little.
All right, I can do this.
I'm so excited for what you're gonna sing.
Good luck. We'll never know.
I assume they make noises like a regular horse.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
All right, how do you feel? Do you feel ready to go?
I feel great. If you're ready, I'm ready.
I could be ready.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna say three, two.
Okay, but seriously though, hold on. I want to let you know
All
that
right.
I've moved everything closer to me. I have
And
leaned back
it
in my
followed
chair,
you.
and it is following me.
Yeah.
So what if I get all the way up here now? Oh, am I past? I've gone. It's gone past me. You fool! I tricked it. Now I just got to get up
You got it.
closer, and I'm good. I'll just be hunched up now
Okay.
until it's
Yeah,
gone.
that's good. You look good. Three,
I'll take it.
two, one.
I pushed the button like 3 times. I don't know what to do. Give me a second. Stop the recording. Okay. So that didn't play for you, right?
I mean, it totally just stopped right in the middle.
Oh, it didn't even
That's,
start for me.
oh,
I
oh,
pushed it like twice and nothing started.
it took a while for it to start.
Okay. Um, let's do this. Let's get rid of you.
Should I just delete all this? I should probably just delete all
Oh
this.
yeah, that's all trash now. That's all. That's all absolute garbage. That needs to be gone forever. I guess we can try it again.
Okay.
All you watchers, that's how you know we're live.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Three, two, one.
If you're thinking about my podcast, it don't matter if you're black with white stripes or white with black stripes.
Wow. Okay. I don't usually say this, but reach, a reach.
Yeah, of course it was. But you weren't gonna get me
I
to
don't
sing a song from
understand why you
either of
could.
these bands.
Why? Why? Why would that have been so
Fine.
difficult to do?
Let me try again. Wow!
Thank you. That's all I needed to
Is
hear.
that better?
Yeah,
Total
and I mean,
Talks.
I think I even know which band you're singing a song from.
I think you might. I think
I think I
I was
do.
singing every song they wrote. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Totem Talks. This is
Yeah,
season
it
seven,
sure is.
episode 13. And if you're
Holy cow!
watching the live stream, It definitely says episode 12 because I never fixed it, but
Oopsie
I know
doops.
it's 13.
We know. We're confident. I'm gonna double
I'd
check,
rather
but
get
we'll
it
be good
right
with that.
in the
It's
recording
you're
than
right,
right on the stream,
and you're right.
and I'm okay with that.
I agree.
Well, anyway, you're
Anyway,
Nick. I'm Pat. This is
yeah, that's
Totem
right.
Talks, and we made a huge mistake this episode.
We did.
I wasn't sure. So Nick, normally we cover two bands,
Oh, we do. Yes, that's correct.
but we seem to have only covered one band
No,
this
no, no,
week.
no, 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 no. That's where you're confused. We have covered two bands. We kick things off with the American band Zebra.
Okay, yeah.
And what we did was we followed that up with the Yugoslav band Zebra. You hear the difference
Okay.
then. It's clear.
You know, I
Clear
did
as a bell.
wonder why one of the albums was entirely in Yugoslavian. I
Well,
thought that
that's
was just
not a
like a fun
language, you
thing.
buffoon. You utter buffoon.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's in a it was in a
Yugoslavia is
language.
it's a large collection of different cultures, and they were Serbian, if it helps. But
Okay.
the album title, when I tried to translate it, did come out as Croatian. Both countries were members of the former Yugoslavia.
So it is a language that's not English.
Yeah, that
That's what I will
tracks.
tell you.
That
I'll
tracks.
tell you that it was not English. And we'll have more to say when it's time for them. But we don't start with
That's
them.
true. No, we don't.
What we start with is a big old thank you for everybody who's tuning in each and every week to listen to Totem Talks.
That's real sweet.
And it's one more, and by one more I mean one more of a billion more. Another call to action for you, our loyal listeners, to just tell one other person that we exist. Anywhere.
Nice.
Anywhere, anytime. You're in line at getting coffee at the local convenience store. I was gonna say Wawa, but I know we at one point had people listening overseas for all
Yeah.
of a few minutes. So if you're still here, you're getting coffee somewhere. You're getting your lunch.
Yeah, you're
Just
on
tell
jury duty
you're
and
on jury
you
duty.
want a way to
Yeah,
get out of having to serve in a jury and you just want to just like talk obsessively about the show.
yeah, that'll work. Anything. Tell your
Yeah,
boss. Tell your best friend. Tell your worst enemy. Tell
true.
someone that we are here existing and making a music podcast.
That's right.
Because otherwise, we will continue this in eternity and slowly fade away into nothingness.
Sure.
We're only existing if you believe in us.
That's
So the
true.
less people believe, we go under Santa Claus rules. So
That's
the
yeah,
less people that believe in us, the weaker we are.
you're
If we
right.
could get everyone on Earth to believe in us,
It really
we
diminishes our
then,
power.
yeah, we have the power to dictate who the greatest band is of all time for real.
That's
Then,
true. That's true.
so
Although in season 2 we did have to get married on a technicality that we didn't the original clause was unclear.
it's true.
No
It's
one told
true.
us about it before, but it's fine.
Luckily, we've grown to love each other.
We really have.
Yeah, it's really worked out.
Grown, I mean, grown is the right word, but still.
Yeah, that's of course also true. Oh wow! All right.
Well,
Anyway, I guess
Zebra then.
now that we got that out of the way, we can talk about Zebra. So Zebra is an American hard rock band. They were founded in 1975 in New Orleans, Louisiana, and they are still active today. So pretty cool. We covered three albums from Zebra. We covered, very thankfully, the eponymous debut, Zebra, which came out in 1983. We followed that up with No Tellin' Lies from 1984. And we closed things out with Zebra 4 from 2003.
That's
So
correct.
we did well. And
We did.
Zebra is my band.
Yeah,
So I will
tell us about
I'll
this
get
real
us
quick.
rolling. There is there's a lot to say for me. It's the 80s and it sounds like the 80s.
Yeah.
Two, that was number one. Number two was really thrown off by everywhere I read about this band saying Randy Jackson was in it. because that is not who I think of when I think of Randy
Well,
Jackson.
but he is Randy Jackson. I mean,
He
you
is
can't
Randy
take it
Jackson.
away
He's in
from
the
him.
band. It is not like American Idol judge Randy Jackson
Correct.
slash, I believe, yeah, now named that tune band leader Randy Jackson.
Uh,
It is
yeah.
not that Randy Jackson. So just wanted to get that out of the way. But he is doing pretty much all of the writing. And by pretty much all of the writing, I mean he's doing all of the writing
Right.
for this band. And it's mostly good. I don't have any complaints about the music. I think it's done well. I think it sounds good. The fact that they're a trio is also pretty
Hmm.
cool. Like they have
Yeah.
session musicians that fill in on this. Like it's clearly not just three of them playing, but it's good. It sounds good. His voice sounds fake.
Not all the time.
I don't even I don't mean that I sound like his voice sounds processed. I
No,
mean
oh, I
his
know.
voice sounds not real. Like a real human being
Huh?
shouldn't be doing that. It's like falsetto on crack.
I know exactly how to describe it. I've already written it down. So,
Okay, so what I wrote down is Elmo is the lead singer of Zebra.
okay. Okay.
That's what I have. And I don't even necessarily mean that as an insult. Like, it doesn't sound bad. It's a little jarring, and I'll be honest with you, after three albums, with the shortest being 39 minutes, it was a little grating,
Sure.
but all in all, like, this is a decent hard rock album that doesn't necessarily fall victim to some of the other pitfalls of 80s hard rock.
Okay. So let me say that we have a very similar opinion of this record. I
Good.
think it's filled with good musicianship. Um, I mean, like there's definitely solid hard rock songwriting in here. Like I think they're a good group. There were two things that threw me off. One was the song, as I said before, the guitar solo, just like out of nowhere, sounds like it was
Yeah.
recorded in like Grand Central Station or something, like 1,000 feet away from the microphone. And I don't know why it sounds that way. And then as soon as the solo's over, it goes right back to sounding normally mixed again. So it's very, very jarring. Speaking of jarring, the lead singer, when he's in his chest voice, he has a
Yeah.
normal, like, I actually wasn't even sure that it was the same guy for a while because it's so different. His chest voice is fine. When he sings in falsetto, he sounds like if Frankie Valli were the lead singer of AC/DC.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, like, that's what he is. He's like, I'm gonna sing up here, but also like, it
Yeah.
throughout all of it. And I'm like,
It's wild.
okay, it's a choice. It's a
It's
choice.
it's certainly a
Um,
choice.
and here's the thing. I couldn't get that out of my head for the whole entire first album, and I couldn't get it out of my head for the entire second album. It is so jarring. Like everything else about this band, I think remains good in the second record, but that voice, I can't think about anything else. As soon as it happens, I'm just like, what? Like I don't know. Like you said, it's not even like he becomes a terrible singer when he does it. The timbre is just so jarring.
Yeah.
It's just hard
It's
to pick it. I don't know.
yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
Like a lot of people kind of lampoon the sound that some of the other bands that have this, like, you think of like Led Zeppelin,
sure.
who also, also has a very wide range of vocals coming from their lead singer,
Yeah,
and who he does get up into that like falsetto head voice stratospheric sound at
yeah,
times. It's so hard to get that timbre right.
it is.
And you basically can't control it. It's like unleashing when you get up that
Yeah,
high. Like it's not like, so when you're in your normal chest voice, you can kind of control the sound. If you want something a little more
Hmm.
like rock and roll, you can put a little more
Sure.
grit, you can put a little more swing, you can change your voice.
Yeah.
When you go up that high, you cannot. It's just
Right.
you're just turning the hose up to 11 and hoping the water hits the right spot
Sure.
basically is what's happening. And it's unfortunate for them that they're
Yeah.
writing a lot of songs that put him up there and he kind of sounds like Elmo.
He kind of does. But musically, I do think they're a little interesting because, you know, obviously this is not like my cup of tea in terms of what they're doing, but I definitely respect and appreciate them as a group. But they sort of sit in this weird spot where every time they do something where I want to say like, oh, this is a hair metal band. Then they do something where I'm like, no, they're still that like 70s hard rock before it kind of started making that switch over into the hair metal territory.
Yeah.
And they like maintain sitting right in between. They're what I wrote is they're like the Australopithecus of hard rock. They're like they're
A very
somewhere
normal
in
reference
between.
that everyone will
Yeah,
get.
yeah. They,
Our
I mean,
whole
they
listener base will understand.
right. They're you know a link along the chain somewhere
Oh yeah,
in
no,
an
listen,
interesting
I
place.
get it. Come on, the Australopithecus. We're all on the same page here.
Did you need me to further explain that?
No, I did get it.
Okay.
I was saying that was just a funny reference for
Well, thank you.
like the audience. But I listen. I agree with everything you're saying. This album comes out a year later, and it falls into the realm of could have been the same session for me.
Oh yeah,
Like, there's no difference here. This album is technically different in the fact that it's 6 seconds longer,
yeah,
and
that's
that's it.
true.
Everything else feels exactly the same. It's fine. I don't have any complaints
No,
about the compositions. I don't really, it's also really not my style because it does toe the line of hair metal a little too close for me.
I agree.
Yeah, like it's a little too close to hair metal, though I would not call it hair metal.
Exactly.
The coolest thing by far about this entire album is the album cover. I definitely want a chess set where the knights are zebras because
That would
that's
be
what it
cool.
is. Then on the front cover is a chess piece of a knight, which is the horse from chess for anybody who doesn't know. But instead of a horse, it's a zebra because they're zebra.
Which,
And
in fact, are a type of horse.
yeah, the real question is a zebra white with black stripes or black with white stripes?
They do have blight. That is
They
a
do have
problem.
blight. So it's one of those philosophical questions, and I think Nick, you're gonna have to answer that before the end of the episode.
Yeah. Oh, gladly.
Good. Just let it stew in your brain a
Yeah.
little bit as we go through the rest of Zebra and Zebra and get there. But I'll take us into Zebra 4, which is shockingly Zebra's fourth album.
What?
So there was a little bit of a gap. They got dropped by their record label, which was Atlantic. There was a period of time when they weren't together after that. Then they got back together. They weren't like disbanded, but they just kind of were like chilling. I guess you can call it a hiatus, but it wasn't really official. Then they got back together, started making more music, started touring. Zebra 4 happens. And I wanted to let you know that all that happened, to let you know that this album does technically sound like time passed between albums, but like maybe about 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot.
Not a lot of time. Now, that's a good and bad thing. The good thing is,
Are you reading my notes?
I'm not. I mean, I am. I'm right. I'm technically right behind you, Nick, in your own. I am that lamp behind you.
Oh, hello.
But it's very similar. What I will say in terms of the good, the compositions still sound good, and the vocals still sound the same. So
Right.
they still sound the same when he's in his chest voice, which is very interesting because, this is a number of years.
Hmm.
20 years have passed, and he does not sound like 20 years has passed. He
Nope.
still has all of his Elmo falsetto range.
Uh-huh.
Full blown Elmo. I mean, if they ever need anyone to replace Elmo again,
Yeah.
they've got the guy. But it's still just blech. Like to me, like it's still that hair metally range, although now we're not even in the 80s anymore. So it's
Hmm.
like, what are we doing hair metal in the early 2000s? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not loving it as much anymore. Now, there was a couple songs on here where the lyrics for the first time stuck out a little bit, particularly the song Who Am I? It's the third song on the album. That one actually has good, reflective, meaningful lyrics that didn't feel like placeholders.
Mm.
A lot of the other lyrics from Zebra here kind of just feel like placeholders to let the torrent of falsetto unleash from the lead singer at any given moment.
Sure.
Who Am I actually sounds like a constructed lyrical song. So there's some growth. But also, if you told me this album came out in 1985, I'd have been like, yeah, of
Yep.
course it did.
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind it did.
Yep. I mean that mirrors a lot of what I had to say. My first comment was, of course, oh, he's still doing that voice. Um, all right then. But I mean, you gotta respect that the fact that the songs are still well written, that they're still performing and singing, and particularly at an equivalent level as to what they were in their prime. Um, but also the big negative of that being like, well, nothing has changed for this group in 20 some years, except for one song. And as cliche as it may sound, it was the longest song on the album, "Waiting to Die." It was the most interesting thing they did, not because
Yeah.
it was long, but because it was like slower, lighter, saxophone laden throughout the song. It just felt like by far the biggest stylistic departure from what I'd heard between the three albums. And so that to me made it the most interesting thing I heard from this group was like, okay, we finally have a song that breaks the mold.
Yeah. I understand. I mean, you're basic as hell, but I get it.
Yeah, I know. I was
You're
really
predictable.
hoping that the song that did that wasn't going to end up being the longest one,
You
but
should
it
have known
was.
better.
It just that's what it was. What it was. I can only report the facts as I see them.
It's true. It's true. You're doing your best. Now, I guess it's time for me to give you some facts.
I love zebra facts.
And a fun fact that I wanted to give before we get into the other stuff.
Sure, there are three distinct species of zebra.
There are. There are. I was really tempted to do that, but I decided to not go for zebra facts because I did that for small pools
Oh, you
when we
did,
did
didn't
small
you?
pools. And I was like, you know what? I won't do it again right now. There'll be
That's
other
fair.
times when I can bring it back out.
Yeah.
So, first off, what I thought was actually interesting. So, on the third album is a song called Free, which they actually had been playing. So, they started off as a cover band
Hmm.
and they were covering, like, ironically, Led Zeppelin, which of course makes sense for that
Yeah.
guy. Like, if Elmo covered Led Zeppelin, it makes
Sure.
sense.
Right.
They also covered Yes, Jethro Tull, and Pink Floyd in there as a cover band for the
Interesting.
most part.
Yes. What that
But
was.
they had a number of their original songs they would slip into the sets, similar to what we do.
Okay.
And they had songs called the La La song
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. I remember
Bears,
that
which
one.
are both on albums, and also Free. So they had Free in like the 70s when they were a cover band and never put it on an album until 2003, which I thought was
Fascinating.
interesting how
That
long it
is.
it
Yeah.
was sitting in their bank. Now the actual kind of unique fact, which listen, guys, this isn't a super popular band. I did my best.
That's okay.
They adopted the name Zebra after seeing a cover of Vogue magazine featuring a woman riding a zebra. And that's
Okay.
just how they came up with the name. And I thought, you know
Good for
what?
them.
I'm sure nobody else looked at that specific cover of Vogue magazine and named their band after it. So that's
So unique.
fucking unique, okay? Give me a break.
It's so unique. So
Okay.
I can you even imagine another band even using that name?
No, it's so. Who could ever?
You know, when I looked it up in Apple Music, and I wasn't sure whether or not I could get Zebra as well through there, what I found out is there are at least 20 different artists who have released music under the name Zebra.
It's true. I was finding a lot of them as
A
well.
lot of artists.
What I think is funny, so like the Yugoslav band Zebra, which we'll get to,
Hmm.
their album came out in 1979,
That's right.
which means they could have theoretically formed around 1975-ish, 19,
You're
in
right.
that range. There is a chance that they saw that same cover of Vogue magazine
Could
and
you
named their
imagine?
band after it. It's possible.
I mean,
Like,
they formed in 1976.
but so it's possible because the American band Zebra initially was called Shepherd's Bush and
Hmm.
then changed their name to Zebra.
Interesting. Interesting.
So it's possible that this all could have been the same Vogue magazine cover. I just want to throw that out there. Shared universe conspiracy theorists, hit me up. I mean, we're good.
I think we are.
All
I
right.
think we.
Moving on to some other facts here. The highlight, which I thought this was cool because they started off as a cover band. They covered bands like Led Zeppelin, Yes, Jethro Tull, Pink Floyd, all of those.
Okay. You got to wait now. Hold on, because I
Oh
found
no.
something.
What have you
So I looked
possibly
it
found?
up. The Vogue magazine cover that features a woman riding a zebra was uh, from the January 15th, 1926 issue.
Oh,
So they found like an old
so it's
magazine.
just been around.
It's just
So
been
I
around.
mean, it really could have happened.
Sure.
The timing of when they named their bands is no longer relevant due to the issue coming out.
Correct.
Wow. I'm going to go ahead and say that's definitely what happened.
I think it's what happened. Not, I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to say all 20 artists that we saw
The name Zebra.
found like
Yeah.
not only just because they saw that magazine, but because they had no other context for what a zebra
No.
was and never would have thought of it otherwise. They saw this, they're like, what a unique looking horse that was. And they had to do some research to find out.
Okay. I'm going to go on a tangent real quick.
Oh, good.
With how short Zebra is, we're going to be fine. But seriously, you just reminded me of a thing.
All right.
So I don't remember exactly where, but in like
Hmm.
you know in history, in like
Yeah, but I mostly wanted to know where.
in historical times, right? There was this like great leader who owned a lion,
Okay.
and he was the first person in his area, in his country, to ever have a lion. They were not popular in this country. They were from Africa. They are not in
They
this
were a
country.
European species up until like sort of recently.
Sure.
Just because of human hunting. Like they were used very
Yeah.
frequently in like the Roman Colosseum and things like that.
Sure. This is not that.
Okay, fair enough. Just
So they
for
only
lion
had,
history's sake.
yeah, they had only ever seen lions drawn as like caricatures in their history books.
Sure.
So when the lion died, this leader paid a professional like taxidermist of the time to restore and preserve his lion. He wanted to keep it. And this dude, having never seen a lion, even though he was holding a lion, yeah, a dead lion, restored it to look like those textbooks, which is just like a cartoon character. I wanna see if I can find this. It's that important to me. I'm so
Wow.
sorry for our audio listeners. You're gonna have to look it up yourself.
Yeah, I'm curious if you're able to find something like this.
Yeah, I'm really hoping I can find it.
Uh, I
I'm
I mean
typing in
I at least
taxidermied lion funny.
perfect.
Oh, here it is.
Oh wow. Okay, that I didn't even have to fill in for you. Okay, go ahead.
It worked. It worked. I'm gonna pull up the image and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I would
share it
like
with
you
you.
to.
So, having never seen a lion before,
Because I can see where
this
this is going.
yeah, it's so good. Okay. That is how he restored the lion, the big
Oh my
picture.
god.
Which, if you look at the
Jesus.
yeah, if you look at like the lions, like if you
Oh,
look at like what they looked like in the books, which I don't have the context for that right
right.
now, but it's pretty close. Yeah, it's
Fascinating.
so good though.
It's
And it
very
was
uncanny
King
valley.
Frederick the First of Sweden.
A
That is
great
who the
king
leader was.
of Sweden.
Yeah, there you go.
You
And
know, of all the Fredericks, he was the
he was the
first.
first. Oh, Nick. Yeah, I just had to shout that out. I thought that was so funny. And you reminded me of it with the zebra
Mhm.
context line. Now back to zebra. Back to some facts
Please.
about zebra. The highlights. So they started as a cover band. They covered, you know, Led Zeppelin and Yes and Jethro Tull and blah blah blah. So in 2013, they performed at a concert called a concert cruise, and it was called Cruise to the Edge, and it featured a lot of other notable progressive rock bands. Steve Hackett, UK, Carl Palmer Band, Ambrosia, Saga, Nectar, Glass Hammer, and Yes,
I figured.
which is super cool.
Cruise to the edge.
It's super cool because imagine starting off as a cover band like in the 70s, so many years before this happened. And like you're just a band chunking along, you get a little bit of success for yourself, and next thing you know, you're playing in the same concert as the band you used to cover
Sure.
as a
Yeah.
cover band. That's a cool
It is
moment.
pretty cool.
So I
I
put
would
that
agree.
in, I could have just put their first album, which went gold, as a highlight. But
Sure.
I thought like that's such a cool like full circle career moment.
It is.
Like I look at
That's
like
a
some
great
of the
point.
things we cover. Like, can you imagine if we like had a concert and, like Radiohead was there?
That would be pretty incredible.
That'd be pretty cool. Like, because we do Creep. Like, like
Hmm.
we do. Like that would be super cool. Or I mean, obviously the Beatles aren't going to be there, which is one of the other
No.
big bands we cover.
But if Paul was there,
Yeah, if
or
Paul was there, that'd be
Ringo,
super cool. Like I thought that was neat.
hmm
Low light. There wasn't too many things to find. During the first half of 2007, a drummer named Bobby Rondinelli filled in for the normal drummer for Zebra, Guy Gelso, who was undergoing treatment for chest cancer. So that's kind of a low light, though he did recover and come back and is still in the band today.
sure.
So a little bit of a low light, a little bit of, worry about Guy Gelso. I'm hoping it's Guy Gelso and not Guy Gelso.
Right. Or
I
Guy.
just, or Guy Gelso. It would still have to be Gelso.
It would still have to be Gelso, but it could be Guy.
Could
Maybe
be
he's
Guy.
French. I don't know.
It could be Guy. The American pronunciation is usually Guy,
You're right.
but I'm open to it being Guy.
Yeah. Let's. That's all I ask is really that we're just open to the
Yeah, I'm
possibility.
open to any possibility. And
Right.
I will close out Zebra with their 6 degrees because there is no meanest or nicest. This band existed. And I have no facts on whether they've been mean or nice in their career. I,
Excellent.
there is nothing I could do. But I've previously stated multiple times their 6 degrees. This band was a cover band who covered bands such as Led Zeppelin, which we've covered, Jethro Tull, which we've covered, and I believe we've
Yeah.
also covered Pink Floyd.
Nope.
In my heart of hearts, we did.
We have not.
Why else would I have listened to
But
Piper at the Gates of Dawn? Oh, because we talked about Piper at the Gates of Dawn when we covered Sid.
oh, that could be it.
We
Because we've
covered
covered Sid
him.
Barrett, but we have
We
not
covered
covered.
Sid
Yeah.
Barrett, and we talked. I was like, I remember talking about Piper at the Gates of Dawn,
Yeah. Well, there you
and
go.
so I knew we had discussed it.
Yeah.
But we covered Sid Barrett, which is he was in Pink Floyd, and so therefore
For a
this
time.
counts.
Okay.
I count it as that, and also, also the other guy. So not Randy Jackson, but Felix Hanneman was in a separate band called Hindenburg, which
Great blend.
was a Led Zeppelin tribute band.
That makes
So
sense.
two of the three members of this band were in Led Zeppelin cover
All right.
tribute bands. And
Well,
that's my 6 degrees, and that's all I've got.
and we should move on to Zebra. I got to pee.
You better hurry up. I don't have a lot of notes to get up for this time. All right, getting up. Two artists with the same name. And there's only one album from this one, so you know, it'll be a shorter segment. It's one album that's entirely in Serbian or Croatian, depending on who you talk to. They were formed in Belgrade. I will not be reading the names of these members, just to be clear. All right.
I have returned.
Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Have you looked at our email?
Not since we've started the podcast.
Okay, so just as we were getting started, we got an email from our artist
Oh, with a picture? Like sketches?
with 4, and the first one, if we were the first one, we've got to use either for the single or for the album because it's perfect.
Well, I'll have to look. I mean, I'm going to take a look before we get started here.
Got to take a look. Because the first one feels so much like that song, but then the more I think about it, it's like it also is kind of representative of the whole record, too.
Oh my gosh.
I'm all in on using it for at least one.
I really like it.
It looks really good.
I really
right?
like it.
Yes, they did a great job.
What if here's a question for you. What if that's the single cover for the song?
Right.
And like a picture similar to that but more zoomed out to show like the profile and more scenery like we discussed in our meeting is the album cover. So it's like themed. It's like similar.
Sure. Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
that could
against
be
that.
really cool. Because
I'm
like
not
obviously
against
this
that, but
is a
we've
sketch, so
got to
there'll be
use
more
it.
detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it'll be more detailed, I think, and filled out. I think from what she had been talking
I
to us
don't know,
about.
because like to me that looks perfect. Like it's just the right amount. I don't need anything.
Well, then, sure. Which what I'm saying is, if we used that as is for the cover for the album or for the single, and then she goes into more detail on that, like it becomes like a slightly similar but more in-depth art style, zoomed out, showing a bit more of the other things we had talked about for the album. It
Okay.
would be, it would make a lot of sense. It would be cool to have it like
Have them be related
tie
to each
in,
other.
have them be related. But I'm with you. I think out of the four of them, I like that one the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Cool. You're answering Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it shouldn't be. I mean, it shouldn't be too long. It's probably gonna be like a half-hour meeting, just kind of hashing out some deets about
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Okay. I've made it clear how much I like that one in the chat. This guy fucking typing so
That's why I
loud,
don't
such a
type too
loud
much on
typer.
the. That's why I don't type too much on the
You're like
pod. I usually have my stuff
smashing them.
up. It's a mechanical keyboard. I'm not even smashing.
All right, glad Mason agreed that that stuck out to him as well.
Yeah,
That's already 3 votes, so we know we're keeping that.
it's true. All right. Yeah, I just put in my bit about the
Yeah.
versus the album cover as well. But I've already spoken it to you out loud, so you don't need to read it right now. And in
Right.
fact, if you read it right now, I'll be offended.
I won't.
Good.
But I
Are you
will
ready?
talk about Zebra.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Zebra was a Yugoslav rock band formed in Belgrade in 1976. They were active from 1976 to 1979.
Yeah, I was hoping you would tell me a little bit more about them before we get started.
Oh yeah, sure. They're from Belgrade, which is
Right, but like
the
read
it's
just a
the
little bit
capital
further
and
for me.
largest city in Serbia.
Yeah, that's correct. But could you tell me a little, like, who formed this band?
Oh yeah, sure. They were formed by the drummer of the band.
And what was his name?
He went by Rasa.
But what was his name?
Ratislav Delmas.
Excellent. Thank you for setting
Ratislav
the
Delmas, yeah.
precedent. That's all I
Yeah.
needed you to do was set precedent.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Now, understand, loyal listeners, I do not speak Serbian, and you will expect no good Serbian pronunciation from me.
Correct.
And that's it. That's all you need to know about it. We did cover every single album released by
That's
Zebra,
right.
which their only album, which came out in 1979.
And what was it called?
It's translated to "They Say That's the Way It Should Be."
Right, but what's the album called?
It's called Kazu de Takav Jared.
Thank you. That's what I
That
need.
is the album. It came out in 1979.
All right, and this is my band, so I will
It's
go
your
ahead and
band.
get started. All right.
I expect you to pronounce a lot of Serbian words now.
That will not happen. So look, I liked the music on this album. It was like really fun rock and roll music. I mean, it kind of gave me like oftentimes an early AC/DC vibe, but also if they had like a synth player who was really cool and a little forward thinking. Like musically it's super interesting. There's lots of really interesting effects and atmospheres that are mixed in throughout. I think just like the Zebra records, it's a very well played record, with a lot of that credit going to whoever the keyboardist synth player is.
I want to just let you know, every part you liked about this band is the lead, is the drummer.
Yeah, that
It's
checks out.
he also plays the synth.
Go
So
figure.
it's Rasa Delmas.
Yeah. And look, I mean, the other instrumentals are good too. The problem is the limitations on the vocals with this group. It's almost like Zebra in the sense that I really thought that the band was good. But the female lead vocalist is definitely limited, and the times when there are male lead vocals, she's like, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we didn't need all that. Um, I mean, maybe he shouldn't have sang really at all on the record, but there's so much interesting musically that I like would have loved to have listened to in more instrumental albums of Zebra. Um, and that's what I have to say about them.
Sure. Now you mentioned the female singer.
Yes.
What was her name?
Oh, thank you so much for asking because the female singer of this band, her name was. Let me just make sure. Anka? Is it? She's Anka?
Yeah.
Okay. Anka Lazarevich.
Yeah. There you go. Just making sure we were on the same page.
Yeah.
And Anka is also the primary writer of the lyrics.
Right.
Just wanted to, So
Which
Delmas,
we definitely like analyzed very closely.
I do have comments on the lyrics. Delmas composed the songs. And I agree with you. They are, they're compelling.
Yeah.
A lot of I get a lot of the comps you were making. It's good, like it's good music. I also agree with you that the performance on the singing was a bit lackluster.
Uh-huh.
Now, I was willing to say that maybe some of that was just cultural because like
Some of it.
that's what I thought
Languages,
potentially.
different sounds.
Yeah. Now, this album was very poorly received in
Yes.
in the Yugoslav nations,
Correct.
and mainly due to the lyrical composition.
Correct.
So Lazarevich's lyrics, which are deemed naive. So I'm
Correct.
not going to weigh in on them myself because I don't speak Serbian.
Yeah, I was gonna save that for when we were grading the poetic talent, but yeah, I mean that's the
Sure,
only
but
information I can find on it.
it's something to consider because this band
For
did
sure.
break up shortly after the release of the album.
Right.
Mainly, you can think of because it kind of got panned. Like that makes a lot of sense to me. But it was an interesting instrumental listen. I think there was a lot of promise here, and it was nice to listen because there's been a few times on the podcast where we've listened to bands that are international. A lot
Mhm.
of our, and I don't just mean international like from England or Canada.
Yeah.
Like I mean from a non-English speaking
Right.
nation. So when you hear them as an American, it sounds foreign.
Sure.
And I think the really cool part about that is the universal language of music. Even though
Mhm.
we didn't understand a single word on this, we, could pick up on different parts of it based on comparing it to music that we've known our whole lives growing up. And I think that's really cool. We had that same thing when we did Bjork because her first
Hmm.
album is in Icelandic.
Icelandic. Yeah.
And we covered a few German prog bands as well because you're
Easily.
on
Yeah.
this. Yeah, so I think it's cool. I think it's a neat universal thing. Like music is
Hmm.
so culturally different but the same, and I really enjoy that part. So
I
that's like
agree.
for that reason I enjoyed listening to Zebra.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk some facts. So I'm going to start with their low light because you just were saying it in your explanation, which was the fact that they disbanded over the reaction to their first album.
Yeah,
It was not good. It was not well received because of the naive lyrics, like you mentioned, and they gave up and disbanded, which I think was a shame because there was so much musical promise.
yeah.
Especially because if you look at the highlight of this band, which is two things, neither one particularly great, um,
Oh,
but
good.
but their average album rating on Discogs is a 4.75 out of 5. So I mean, imagine disbanding after that. And the other is the fact
If
that
only they knew in
if only they
1979
knew.
that a website disc. If only they knew a
A what
website.
now? And also, if they knew about websites, they would also know that Wikipedia refers to them as, quote, a prominent act of the 1970s Yugoslav rock scene, which is their other highlight for the fact that they were noted as being that.
I mean, I'll give them credit. That almost feels a bit like a LeBron stat.
Sure.
And by LeBron stats, so there's two different versions of LeBron stats. For anybody who doesn't know, LeBron James is a basketball player.
Oh, I thought he was an actor.
Well, he did act. He technically acted in Space Jam 2.
You're right.
But a LeBron stat is one of two things. One is a stat of longevity, which we're not going to say
For sure.
Zebra is.
No.
Two, and this is more popular than LeBron. It's everybody does it now. Where you make a stat so specific that you therefore break a record in it.
Right. Yeah.
Like a good example for like football is like somebody will say like he has the best passer rating when it's 3rd and 20 with less than 5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
He's the best at that, and it's like yeah, but like
Okay.
that's out of how many potential people is
Right.
that? How
Exactly.
many people have that exact thing happen?
Hmm.
So that feels like that. Like,
It does.
it feels very specified down to a pinpoint
It does.
to get them something, but
Right.
I approve.
Yeah, and if they weren't a prominent act, would they have played the 1977 Boom Festival, which was,
It's true.
sponsored by the League of Socialist Youth of Yugoslavia?
I guess not.
It was a big music festival throughout the 70s in Yugoslavia, so go figure. Anyway, moving on to the unique thing about them, which is about Radoslav Delmas, which is
Rest in
when
peace.
when he retired from music, he became a very successful race car driver. Um,
What?
starting at the age of 45, he became a very successful race car driver, and in every race he ever competed in, he finished in the top five without ever finishing first once.
What?
Yep,
That's oh,
that's the information I have about him.
okay. I mean, he also died.
That's true,
Yeah.
which is also sad.
Just wanted to say rest in peace to
Yes.
Radislav Delmas.
And speaking of Radoslav Delmas, um, he was actually in a band with this guy called Laza Rostrovsky. And if and not only was he in a band with Laza Rostrovsky, but the man who wrote the lyrics to the debut Zebra EP called Igra, which we did not listen to, Dusan Provasic, was also on an album with Laza Rostovsky. And Laz Rostovsky then later was a member of the touring band for Alvin Lee during his
No,
Yugoslav Hungarian
you
tour.
actually had a 6 degree. I
Yup.
thought you were building that into being a 6 degree. So I'm like, how did you find anything?
Hmm.
How long did that take you to find?
You would be surprised. Like I went back and forth to like 30 different Wikipedia pages and like thought I was finding trails to one thing and then losing it and then
Oh
trying to
no,
back up and start again and losing it. Like it was not easy.
I can't imagine.
But I found the connection that worked.
I'm proud of you. One quick thing that I want to say, which I thought was a funny moment. So Radoslav Delmas is the father of Alexandra Delmas, who is the vocalist for the band Destiny Potato, which I thought
Which
was
is a
just a
great
good
name.
band name.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good old Destiny Potato. And that was
I
it.
wish
That was all I had.
I wish upon thank you for contributing. I wish
Yeah,
upon my destiny potato every night.
as you should.
All right, I have one thing left and it's the meanest and nicest thing.
Oh my gosh, you
And I'm going to
actually
be
have.
honest.
You got more facts about Serbian or about
Hold your
zebra than
horses.
I had
Hold your
about
horses.
zebra.
Don't say that. Because here's the thing: there was no nicest thing, but the meanest thing is what I found out. Is I mentioned earlier in the show that there are three species of zebra. Well, there's one of them called Gravy's zebra, and there are only 2,000 individuals left in the population of this subspecies because of loss of habitat and poaching. So hey, I know we don't have an official Totem Talks position on the issue of poaching, but now we do. Fuck poachers.
Fuck poachers.
Fuck them.
Absolutely.
Hate them.
They go right in the Jerry Lee Lewis bucket of absolute
Absolutely.
fuck them.
Absolutely. Hate them.
I agree. Couldn't agree more.
I'm glad that we agree.
Absolutely.
Whew. Okay. Well, I guess it's time to grade.
Yeah. I guess it is.
Look, these are not high scores.
They're not. Although, okay, I'm gonna jump back in time.
Please.
Imagine I was still giving my facts on zebra
Yeah.
because I completely missed this one. Randy Jackson in 2010 participated in a tribute album titled Mr. Boleyn's Late Night Revival, which consisted of 17 unreleased tracks written by guitarist Tommy Boleyn, who was known for playing with the James Gang and Deep Purple.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I just
Um,
the fact that it just existed. Like we
Look,
covered.
these scores are lower than one.
Yeah. Oh, Nick, they are both.
I'm
So
gonna
much
give
lower than 1.
I'm gonna give Zebra a little credit because they did in fact have a gold album. And
Right.
for that, to me, they can have a half a point.
And I think they would appreciate that.
And I think Zebra just gets the point one, and it is what it is.
It yeah, that's you're not wrong.
Okay, well, Zebra also had 4 albums, so they're starting with 3.4 for breadth of work. One of them went gold, so we can't take away all the points, but they are losing some.
Hold on. Hold on.
Holding.
I I found something
All right.
on Randy Jackson's Wikipedia page.
Okay.
There is a line that said in his section about Zebra, the group has produced 5 albums and 5 videos with combined sales of over 2 million units.
Okay.
If you
So we'll
include
leave
the
them.
live records, which count towards total units,
So we'll just leave them alone then.
we'll leave them alone.
Would you like to award them any enjoyment points?
Here's the thing, I enjoyed them, but like not for the reasons that I think they'll want to be enjoyed. Because I just kept picturing their lead singer as Elmo, and that I did like legitimately get enjoyment out of that.
Sure, of
So like
course.
I want to give them a point one, but like I feel like they won't like that. But I'm still gonna give them a point one.
All right, and that's where they can stay because I'm happy
Yeah,
to
I
leave them
figured.
the place that they're at.
Yeah, it was just because like imagine Elmo singing those songs. Like it's
That is
funny.
fun. All right, so Zebra, they start with the point eight for their one album. I'm gonna go ahead and just say we're not gonna find any sales statistics on these.
I doubt it.
This could be the full point. If there's an example of a band that loses the point five max for sales, then this is kind of it.
Yeah, I think a point three starting range makes sense.
Yeah. And you know what? Because you gave your band a point one, I'm gonna go ahead and give Zebra a point one because in terms of the actual music, while I thought Zebra did a good job and played very well in their albums, like this was the one that I enjoyed the most musically for sure of the week.
Sure. And I'm gonna leave them the same because the vocals, which is kind of the part where my ear trains the most, just weren't there for me.
They
Even
definitely
though
weren't
I
there.
do agree with you, the rest of it was good.
Yeah. And look, I think when we go to instrumental talent, both bands had instrumentalists who to me were definitely above the average. I think there was talent to be heard on all of the albums that we listened to. Um, the vocals were not great for Zebra and distractingly weird for Zebra. So it's
Yep.
only a matter of like where we want to balance that definitively above average musicianship
Yeah.
with vocals that were not on par with the rest of what was going on.
Here's my I guess driving talk about Zebra. Definitively weird they were, but it's hard to say there was a lack of talent in the vocals. They
I
were
would
just
agree.
weird.
They were weird.
Like they were weird to our ears, although, to other people maybe. And his unique range in his voice did give him, like he's made a career out of not only Zebra but being in tribute bands, like multiple tribute bands for like Led Zeppelin and, other artists in
Yeah,
that type of vocal range.
I would be okay with giving Zebra the slight edge for that reason, but both
Yeah, very slight
probably
edge.
balancing out in to me the low fives.
And I agree. I'm definitely not arguing for a high score here. I think like a 5.2 or 3,
I went with a 5.3 and a 5.2.
and I love it.
So now we go on to songwriting, and again we're starting with the 3.4 and the point eight. Um, Zebra was the classic case that we come across so often of songs well written, all sound the same.
All sound the same.
So, like in some ways, I would rate them as above average songwriters, and in other ways, I would rate them as below average songwriters. And does that mean we just leave their score the way it
At a
is?
3-4. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
In terms of Zebra, I think this is probably the strength of the group. Um, they didn't have three albums that all sounded identical, so they don't necessarily suffer in the way that Zebra ended up suffering in the long term. They have one album on which the compositions were a little bit above average. So it's to me like taking them from a 0.8 to maxing out at like a 1.
I was gonna say let's just give them a 1. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. And then the last thing is poetic talent. So again, we're starting in the same places.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about Zebra other than their first album was panned for having bad lyrics. I think that's enough to bump them down a little, but because we did not understand them ourselves, I'm not comfortable bumping them down a ton.
No, I'm not comfortable commenting on the lyrics as I don't speak the language.
Right.
And I also like I would like you know you could say like oh you could translate the like them into English.
It's not
That
quite
is
the
a
same thing.
slippery slope because you
Yeah,
lose a lot of the nuance of the lyric.
definitely.
I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to judge them on that.
Yeah,
Nor will I learn Serbian just to be able to judge this band's one
totally fair.
album.
Totally fair.
Gonna be clear. So I think we start with a 0.8.
Yep.
I think we give them a 0.7.
And that sounds fine to
A
me.
0.7 for the reviews of the album,
Yeah,
and leave
right.
it at that.
Did you hear enough on the third Zebra album that makes you want to leave the average for them?
Yes, I did actually.
Okay.
Because I thought the lyrics never took away where I would want to take away points from just being like the lyrics are there. But
Sure.
there was a couple moments on that third album, so I would just like to leave them where they are.
Oh, so you're good at a 3.4 still.
I mean, we could talk to a 3.5 if you're feeling it.
Okay, that's just
It's
what I was
minimal
asking.
jump
I
for
wasn't
me.
sure if, okay, so not enough to change the point total.
No, enough to not take away from the kind of redundant lyrics of before.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just assume you don't have any X Factor.
You're wrong.
That's crazy. All right, go ahead.
Zebra. So I purposely kept this out of cultural impact because I thought it would be better here. Zebra in 2010 was inducted into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame,
Yes.
and in 2012 was inducted into the Long Island Music Hall of Fame.
Which is everybody's favorite part of Louisiana.
I'm just saying, Louisiana. I think the Long Island Music Hall of Fame is cool. They
Sure.
definitely were popular in Long Island to the point where they moved from Louisiana to Long Island because they were popular there.
Right.
Louisiana is like known, like New Orleans is known for the music scene.
Oh, for sure.
Making the Hall of Fame in Louisiana for music is a cool feat.
It is. And I'll tell
Like
you this,
I
none of the New Orleans sound that I'm thinking of sounded anything like Zebra.
100%, but for a place known for its music, I think it's cool to have to be in it. I think it's cool
Sure.
to be inducted.
I'll give him a 0.1.
I think it's worth a 0.1. Exactly. It's worth a little bit.
And you know what? That 0.1, it was certainly enough to settle our final scores today.
Good.
So winning this week's episode, I can't hear it. Sorry. I'm sure
It's
it's
done.
playing. Okay. Is Zebra, the American Zebra, with a 16.2.
Winning with a 16.2.
Winning. And not winning is the Yugoslav Zebra with a very close 7.4.
Okay. Okay. Ooh. All
And I
right.
didn't even dislike their album. It was
No.
arguably my favorite of the week.
It was a good album. Okay, you know
It was a
what?
weird episode, and you know what? Like, I'm all for throwing these in. Like,
Oh,
I
me too. I loved
I
it.
have
It's great.
made some other interesting changes to our future episodes from future
Now,
seasons, just to get
here's
into some more weird stuff. Get us out of our comfort zone a little bit. I like it.
this is very important, Nick. Earlier this episode,
Hmm.
I asked you a question.
You did.
It's time to pay the piper.
Yeah, and you know
Are
what?
zebras
Zebras,
black white stripes or white with black stripes?
neither. Zebras, my
Okay.
friend, like all things on this planet, are gray.
You son of a bitch. Just because you're colorblind.
That's the only reason. I don't know. It feels like a really philosophical takeaway.
It does. But I will tell you, factually speaking, zebras are black with white stripes.
All right.
That's
I
just
mean,
what it is.
if you want to believe the media,
I believe Big Zebra.
you're such a fucking shill for Big Zebra.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Uh,
Anyway. Yeah, I just thought
well,
that,
next week.
yeah,
Next week
next
we're
week.
gonna have bands, and both of them are one-hit wonders from the classic rock era.
Okay. At least we'll know at least two songs.
We will know two songs almost definitely exactly,
Good.
but we'll see.
That's what I love. That's what I love to hear. Well, hey man, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go hang out. I'm gonna go
Get the hell out of here.
fill up my water bottle or something. I don't know, but
Oh, that's
well,
a
I'm going
great
to.
way to pass the time.
It's true. And for our water bottles, it takes some time.
It does.
Our 64-ounce water bottles. But either way, you go out into the world, listener. You loyal listener, you, and you think two things. One, have a great day. Two, fuck poachers.
Agreed.
Cool.
Huh. The fuck are the odds that the first Redbone album would be a double?
Why do you say things to hurt me?
I wasn't trying.
But you did. That's all that matters. Is that you hurt me.
Oh,
How
so
long is the album?
weird. 72 minutes. Yeah, we
72.
hate Barry.
I'm
72 minutes
busy.
is
I'm busy.
terrible. It could be worse. Could be in the 80s. So
The
here
circle is
is
great,
my
Megan.
newest
The circle
problem.
is wonderful. Not a sponsor.
Yes. Here's my new problem.
Yeah.
Because now I'm looking at the Trogs as the other option here. Their last album is a collaboration with REM.
Interesting.
The Trogs. They wrote Wild Thing in 1966 and
Oh,
then disappeared for all time.
yeah.
And then they did a collaborative album with
Yeah.
REM. What?
I guess they did. Who would
So
you like
weird.
this week?
I am good either way.
Right. I'll let you pick because I forced Zebra on you. Because I was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
I'll take Redbone.
Okay. Cool. I get to listen to the Trogs collab with REM.
I mean,
We
as
both
long
get
as
to
that's
listen
the
to
album
it.
you end up choosing.
Yeah. Well, if it's the last album, it's probably the one I'm going to choose.
Okay, I wasn't sure if the collaborative part of it was going to make it feel like a different thing.
I'll see. I'll
Okay.
I'll judge.
Yeah, I trust you.
I'll take some time. I'll consult with my team Totem Talks that I have in this dog crate next to me.
Oh shit! I did
Yeah.
not now listening in my head to the song. It makes sense. You know the song "Wild Thing" by the Trogs, I assume.
You make my heart sing.
You make it everything groovy.
Yeah.
The weird like
Yeah.
that little solo that happens in the middle of it. It's an ocarina.
Yes. I didn't know Link was in the Trogs.
We should get an ocarina.
We
You
should.
should learn the fucking ocarina.
I have an ocarina.
How has this not been brought to our attention before? What key is it in? See?
I have no idea what key it's in. It's at my mom's house. It's a teacup. That's also an ocarina. It's a cup that's like you can play the ocarina with the cup.
That's not quite the same thing, but they're like $30 on Amazon.
I feel like I can play the teacup ocarina.
I mean, if you can, then please do.
I will ask her if she
Megan
knows where it
plays
is.
ocarina.
You know how to play the ocarina, Megan? Megan, you can 3D print
Lessons.
me an ocarina. Megan, 3D print me an ocarina. Please. We'll see what she says. We're all waiting with bated breath for the delay to catch up for her to see the comment and then for us to read it.
Does take some time.
It does. Oh my gosh.
Damn.
So Megan, full-time
Printing
ocarina
now.
player for Low Totem.
Fuck yes.
Printing now? You already have it? Amazing. I wouldn't surprise me if you already had a model for it to print. All right. So cool. I'll cover the Trogs, you cover Redbone,
Those fucking troglodytes.
and we'll meet back here in roughly a week's time.
That sounds good to me.
Cool. Wonderful.
Adios
Have
to
one
you.
saved. Adios to you as well. I'm sure some insert typical joke about you getting ready for bed at 6:30 p.m.
Uh, well taken.
Good. Good. Prithee. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna head off as well. Thanks for hanging out as we talked some totems and went over some zebras and all that fun stuff. Tune in next week if you want more Totem Talks content and you are not caught up on our podcast. It's the perfect time to catch up on it. You can go find the first 6 seasons fully released on any podcast platform. It's on Spotify. It's on a few different ones. If you find a platform where it's not, you can just let me know and I will attempt to fix that. I mean, I'll see what I can do, but it's on the major ones. So go listen to it and catch you next time.